Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. So this video is the second part of my guide series for ELYON, where I go over some of the mechanics and systems in the game that you might want to know as you're starting to play, and even as you're getting into the more medium and end game parts of ELYON. If you haven't seen the first part of these guys, make sure you click that eye up above. Go check that out, come back to this. That way you'll have a good understanding of all of the systems in ELYON. So that way when you get into this and you're understanding how to improve your gear, get better gear score, enhance your items, you have that foundation already. If you have questions about ELYON or MMOs in general, make sure you come over to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/DilboDavgans. I stream every Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to noon and 8 a.m. to midnight, twice a day, morning and evening streams. It's been a great time. We've really been enjoying ELYON, and it seems like you guys are really enjoying these YouTube videos as well. So I really appreciate all the support, leaving all those likes and comments and subscribing. And I hope to continue to provide good ELYON content for you guys. What are we going to go over in this video? So this whole video is just about you getting better gear score, getting on that gear grind that this game has in it, which is actually really addicting, and a lot of what the game is achieving this better gear. So we're going to go over what gear is actually good, what you should strive for, where to get the gear, and how to improve that gear once you get it. So sit back, relax, let me learn you some things. All right, so now we are in ELYON, and I just want to go ahead and show you guys what gear you should really be worrying about. This game throws a lot of stuff at you, so you don't know what's junk, what isn't. This is a good way to know of what you can get rid of, what you can sell, what you can dismantle. I'm going to go ahead and go over all of that right now. So I have my storage open. This is inside of my house, and if you can see here, I have a bunch of gear that's saved. So the first step of, building your character is figuring out what runes you need on your gear. So that's the first thing to keep in mind when you're trying to save gear, and if you need to keep it long term, is do you need the rune slot that it drops? So I actually have a lot of this white gear that I wouldn't have otherwise, but the reason I have this is for these yellow runestone slots on this, right? I want to make sure that I have these runestone slots in case I get a piece of gear that is really good that I want to upgrade and continue to enhance, but it doesn't have the runestone slots on it. So I have all of this gear in here, this white gear in here with the yellow runestone slots, because 33 Fate currently is still one of the best things you can go in ELYON. These will give me the opportunity to be able to put those rune slots on that gear. Now, the next thing you really want to think about is that second rune slot. So that second rune slot is something that you're not necessarily going to have fate. So for instance, for my build, I'm trying to get 33 fate, which are the yellow rune slots, and 33 assault. So as I'm looking at gear and as I'm getting it, for instance, this piece of green gear, this is not something I would wear, but it comes with a red assault runestone slot. When I get a hat that I want to actually use, I have this green piece of gear here that I can enhance to a +4, and that will add an extra runestone slot to it. As you can see, it says right there underneath the red slot, it says runestone slot added upon +4 enhancement, and I can hope that I'm going to get a yellow fate slot. And then what I can do is I can use this green piece of gear to take the runestone slots off of and put it onto the purple piece of gear that I want. So for instance, I want to replace the rune slots on this hat here. I want to get rid of that blue rune slot. If I wanted to do that right now, I could enhance this, hopefully get a yellow fate, and then take the rune slots off of this hat and put it onto my currently equipped hat. So that way I'm closer to my end game build, which is 33 assault. That's the very basics as far as like what you want to keep your eye on. So let's actually talk about power. Let's talk about what gear pieces you're actually going to equip and what things are actually going to make you stronger. First things first are breakthrough. Okay, so what are breakthrough gear? Breakthrough are pieces of gear that have higher base stats than a gear of its same equivalent. So for instance, this Moment of Steel light armor hat has an base item level of 281. You see, I've enhanced it once already and gotten it up to 317, but it started at 281. If I were to find a blue hat, it wouldn't have 281 as its base gear score, because breakthrough starts off all of its stats higher than an equivalent blue at the same level. Same thing with purple breakthrough, right? It always starts off higher. Now, the thing about breakthrough is that you can break it when you're enhancing it. So if you see the attempted enhancements on this piece, I had 3 total attempted enhancements. I also have that yellow diamond there that's already filled in. That was a guaranteed 100% enhance. So I went ahead and did that. So I got that enhanced, but I have 2 slots left. If I were to roll on these and it failed, this piece of gear would go away completely and I would never get it back. That's kind of the downside of breakthrough gear. So what type of breakthrough should you go for? So for instance, if you look at currently what I'm running is I have this offhand breakthrough. Now, unfortunately, I only got this to +6. It didn't have 4 slots on it, so I was only able to do it 3 times. I said, screw it. I rolled for it and I hit it. Now this item level 448, that is not bad at all. but this thing is stuck at a +6. I cannot get this any higher. This is going to eventually be out geared by the rest of my gear, and I will have to replace it. But having a offhand that is a piece of breakthrough gear gives you your 5th slot on your bar. You might want to run a piece of breakthrough even if it isn't purple, right? Because I have this +6 on this, this still is on par with the rest of my purple gear currently, even though it's only level 30 and the base item level started at 306. Because I got that +6 enhance on there, that makes this piece of gear pretty good. Now let's talk about what you want to get alongside your breakthrough gear. So you're not gonna be able to pull off full breakthrough because at level 47 you can only equip 4, and that's the max you can equip in the entire game. Right now I have 2 pieces equipped, but you're going to want to fill up the rest of the slots on your gear. So one thing that you're going to get a lot of is this Knight's gear. This is very basic purple gear, and the reason it's basic is because it doesn't give you good random effects. Okay, can only be upgraded at a +10. It's just not worth taking into legendary. So that's why this is kind of a basic piece of purple gear. While if you look at my top, which isn't a piece of Knight's gear, this has a pretty good random effect, and it has 2 random effects on it. So you'll start off and you'll start getting all of this Knight's gear, and that's good. Definitely use it, definitely enhance it. I don't necessarily think taking it all the way to +7 like I did here was actually a good decision. I honestly probably would have just left it at +4, and we'll talk about enhancing. Don't worry, I'll get into that and I'll show you exactly what I mean by a +7 and a +4 and how that all happened. But if in hindsight, I probably would have just left this at a +4 and not taking it all the way to 7, because there was no way for me to get it to a +10. And even if it got to a +10, I wouldn't have taken it into legendary at all. Now, the reason why a +4 is still good is because you get that extra rune slot. Okay, so that kind of brings me into that next thing is you want to make sure you have at least 2 rune slots on all your gear pieces, or you're going to really be messing with your overall output. So for instance, this piece of breakthrough gear, these purple boots, I knew they might break when I rolled this 2nd slot on here, but why would I have this? Why would I use this if it wasn't a +4? Because I wouldn't have that extra rune slot on it, right? So I don't really see the point of keeping things, if you're going to use them for a while, underneath of a +4 minimum. Okay, so like I said, you're going to get a lot of this Knight's gear, and it's good, it's decent, it's a good starter piece of gear, but you're going to end up replacing them. So you'll get other set pieces, for instance this cycling set that I have. Now this is a piece of gear that I got from a dungeon, and this is a little bit better than the Knight's gear because again, it has those random effects on it. Now it can only be upgraded if I got it to a +10, right? So I got it to +5. I probably shouldn't have kept on rolling it. This was before I really understood this entire system, but it still has those 2 rune slots on it. So I wouldn't necessarily replace this just yet, but it is on my list of things to get replaced. I don't necessarily need this because I can't take it to a +10. I can't get it into legendary. The effects on it are decent. They're not the best effects, but they're decent. You want to look for the random effect as you're looking for those good pieces of gear. Some of the best things for random effects, right, are damage resistance, adds critical hit, decreases critical hit damage, you know, things like that. Max weapon attack percentage, things like that. I'm going to link a spreadsheet down below that will actually show you different stats on different gear that might be good for what you're trying to go. Now it all also depends on your class and what you're trying to do. So for instance, you wouldn't want a physical attack buff on your gear if you're an elementalist, but there's specific things that are better, and keep in mind they're normally increasing your power or decreasing the amount of damage you're taking from people's critical hits or their specific types of damages. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about where to get the gear. Okay, so where am I getting these purples? Where am I getting that breakthrough? Where did I get these purple breakthrough boots? So there's a few ways to get gear in this game, and we're going to go through all of them. Let's start off with how I got these purple breakthrough boots, because these things are spicy, they're real nice, and I'm excited to use these for the next while. Even though I probably won't be able to take them into legendary, they're still going to give me a good baseline at the moment. So how did I get these? Well, you have daily dungeons to do. Every single day when you log in, you'll have 4 daily dungeons to do. The rewards for the daily dungeons are these dungeon conquest badges. These dungeon conquest badges allow you to be able to purchase a box, and inside of that box will have a piece of purple breakthrough gear that you can select. So if I were to go ahead and I right click on my dungeon conquest badge here and I come all the way to the last page, you can see I have these bind moment of steel weapon box and another moment of steel weapon box. Sorry, the bind was because it's binded to me. If you purchase this for 35 dungeon tokens, you get a piece of purple breakthrough gear. Okay, so that's how I got that specifically. But if you can see, this whole page has breakthrough gear on it, right? So I actually got that +6 offhand that I actually got from here. This is where I got it from. I spent 10 dungeon tokens on it and I ended up grabbing it from here. That's one way to get it. That's actually a really main way to get purple breakthrough gear. That is really good. Now, another thing that will happen is over on the right-hand side of your screen, there'll be world bosses that pop up. They'll pop up and they'll say, hey, this boss is spawning, we need 20 people. When you click join, it will teleport you over to the boss. You'll kill it and it will give you a piece of breakthrough gear. That is how I got all of the breakthrough gear inside of my storage here. That is how I got all of this. This all came from killing those bosses that spawn, and a little alert pops up on the right-hand side of your screen. Now, where did I get, for instance, this cycling wisdom light armor and this cycling wisdom pistol? These came from this group dungeon. These group dungeons give you really good gear. See, if you look at this, it actually gives you solid gear that you can upgrade with, and it also is part of a set. So for instance, this is a swiftness rifle, so this is part of the swiftness set, right? That's those cycling, there's the cycling pistols that I got. Now, if you have a big party or a really strong party, you could do stage 2 of this dungeon, and I haven't unlocked all the other ones, and I'm sure there's more better gear that you can get, but stage 2 actually drops purple breakthrough gear. So if you have a good 5-man of 400 item level already and you're trying to push breakthrough gear, you could run this 5-player dungeon and possibly get a good drop from this. So another place you can go ahead and get good gear from are the weekly portals, the weekly dimensional portals. If I click up here, it will take me to the dimensional portals, and as you can see, if I click on weekly, there are pieces of gear that drop inside of this Dragon Garden weekly portal, or for instance, the Abandoned Underground drops jewelry. So if you come in here, every time a weekly portal is up, it will be up for an hour periodically throughout the day. As you're farming in there, you'll have a chance to drop some of this good gear. So this is another spot. Make sure you're paying attention to the weekly portals, and also your daily portals also have rewards. For instance, your daily portal can give you a piece of purple gear too, but this is a level 35, so this is probably a little bit lower item level than your weekly would be, but this is another good spot to be able to farm purples. So another spot, and this is a spot that I get a lot of purples from, and if you come over to my stream, you see this a lot. I actually get drops for classes that I don't play, which is very frustrating, but every single part on the map, every single named area, when you click on it, they have a list of obtainable equipment, right? So these are just killing these mobs in this area has a possibility of dropping these obtainable pieces of equipment. Okay, so to be able to get this, the best way to do it is to go over to this area, pop a laurel wreath, which gives you 10x item drop for 30 minutes, and you buy those via the laurel wreath piece here in the underneath the mini map. You click that, you can buy 2 a day. Okay, so if you buy 2 a day, you get them, they'll be added to your inventory, and you can just run around with them whenever you need them. You pop them. What you'll do is you'll come over to that area and you'll say, hey, I really need to get a pair of pants. I really need to upgrade the pair of pants, and this drops a base level item 277. Okay, so it can drop better than this. It can. I've had things drop better than the item level that shows here, but this is just, you're just farming in the area and you're going to be hoping that you get a drop. Another way you can get gear is, just keep an eye on the marketplace as well. People will be selling gear in here all of the time because you get drop things that you don't need. So you can go to weapon, main weapon, right? You can go to your class, gunner, and see what people got for sale here. A lot of people sell, like I was saying, they sell things with rune slots in them or greens that are upgradable. That's why there's all of these greens on here. In case I need a green with a purple rune slot and I want to upgrade it to be able to have the 2 slots and then re-roll it like we were talking about. Keep an eye on the marketplace. And then one of the last main places, and then keep in mind, you get gear from doing a lot of stuff in this game, from completing your quests, from doing your green quests, from doing your daily stuff. You get a gear from a lot of places, but I'm just showing you kind of the main spots to be looking for particular gear upgrades. One of the really good spots, especially if you're into PvP, is by using the honor tokens. So the honor tokens allow you to purchase blue radiant gear. So we're going to actually go ahead and purchase a piece of this right now. We'll go ahead and purchase a chest piece, and it's going to go into our inventory. Now this is going to be a piece of gear with stats based on PvP, because this is from the honor token. So the gear, this gear is focused around doing better in PvP. I'm going to right click on that, and it's going to give me a piece. When I hover over it, it's going to have, now this is pretty good. It has 5 slots on it, but it has 1 guaranteed, which isn't the best. Okay. Now you're thinking, Dilbo, it's a level 30 and it's got gear score 196. Why is this good? Why do you want this? Okay. So you got to think about what you can do with this. Okay. So this decreases critical hit damage by 10%. Okay. And if you look at that spreadsheet that I linked below, and I'm actually going to pull it up on the screen right now. If I look at this spreadsheet, shows you kind of the best gear stats to prioritize for PvP, best gear stats to prioritize for PvE. The top decreases critical hit damage percentage. That's a good piece. That is a random stat that you want to keep that on your PvP gear. Okay, that's great. So now I have this, but again, Dilbo, it's blue. What the hell? You're not going to do anything with that. Well, if you look at this is only a +6 enhancement. What I mean by that is a +6 will take this to purple, and it will thus become even better because it was able to get purple. And then you also get more random effects the higher you upgrade it. Okay, so we might actually enhance this right now. I'll go ahead and I'll show you this, and we'll use this piece of gear as we're going over the enhancement part of this video. So now keep this in mind, just because a piece of blue gear necessarily doesn't have the beginning stats of a purple piece of gear, especially in this instance with this radiant honor gear that comes from the PvP honor token. These come with random effects on them that are oriented towards PvP. So you want to make sure you can keep these and then upgrade them to a purple, to a legendary, and increase them via enhancement stones, and it will actually become better than a purple that would just drop. You might have saw inside of here, why didn't I buy one of these purple pieces, right? This is radiant honor. Why would I buy this? Well, this is way more expensive to purchase, and the random effects is random when you unlock it. It's completely random. So you might spend a lot of points on this and then get a terrible effect. Well, if you get a terrible effect, that piece of gear is garbo. You can't do anything. You can't re-roll the effects on it. So it's better to use your honor tokens to be able to buy as many blue pieces as possible. Get a piece of gear with a good random effect on it. For instance, decreases critical hit damage by 10%, and then enhance it from there. Take it to a purple, take it to a legendary. All right. So the last part of this video is all about how to improve gear. I've been talking all this time about making a piece of gear better, taking it to a +6 or a +4 minimum, so you get that extra rune slot, taking it from a blue to a purple to a legendary. Why you shouldn't upgrade a knight's gear, why you should upgrade, you know, a blue breakthrough into a purple breakthrough, or a purple breakthrough into a legendary breakthrough, right? This is how you do that. I'm going to go ahead and show you how this happens. And it's lucky because I just got that piece of gear and I wasn't planning on actually being able to show you this. So this is kind of nice. Hopefully this doesn't mess up on me when we go to roll this. In any single one of these towns, for instance, the Foothold, you'll have a enhancement artisan. And you should learn this while you're doing the story. It should teach you all of this. At the enhancement artisan is where you go ahead and enhance your gear. So I'm going to go ahead and talk to this guy, and I want to put this piece of radiant armor that we just talked about, which has a 5 enhancement slots on it, and all I need is a +6 to be able to make it purple. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to utilize my enhancement stones to be able to upgrade this to a +2. Now keep in mind, whenever you put an enhancement stone in here, it doesn't have a guarantee of working. If I were to put a level 1 in here, it still is 85%. You see right here, it says enhancement ratio is 85%. When I put in a level 2, I can +2 it, but it's also still just 85%. The chance of it working goes down the farther along you get in the enhancements. So I'm going to go ahead and use this. Hopefully it works. Okay. It works for the first one. That's good. We got it at a +2. Now our goal is to try to get it to a +4. As you can see here, if I were to use another refined armor enhancement stone, okay, which is the level 2, this will give you a +2, not a +1. If it fails, I have the chance of it actually going down. So it won't break. These gear, this isn't breakthrough. This won't break when you fail, but it can go from a +2. And if this fails, it would go down to a +1. Now you can prevent that using your safe enhancement tools, but I don't suggest using these here. I actually suggest using these on your rune stones, which I can talk about in another video about how to upgrade rune stones and the best way to do that. If you're interested in that, leave a comment down below. What we're going to do here is, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 slots left and we still have 1 guaranteed, I'm going to go ahead and use a +1 enhancement stone rather than a +2. So that way, if it did fail, it's not going to go down. Okay, that's my thought process here, because my goal is to get this to a +6. So I'm going to go ahead and roll on it. It's going to succeed. That's great. Now, see, we still have 3 slots left and we're at a +3. I'm going to go ahead and do it again with this 1, because if this passes, we'll be at +4, and then this guaranteed will be a +6. So let's go ahead and see if this works. It worked. Okay, so now, because we have a +4, we did a +2 here, we did a +1 and a +1. Now our piece of gear is a +4 total. Now, unfortunately, our gear here rolled with a purple and a green runestone slot. You see how it did that? It only had a purple to begin with. Now it has a green. Now I'm going to re-roll those runestone slots on this with gear that I have that have yellow and red on them, because that's what I want my gear to have. That's what we were talking about at the beginning of the video. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a +6, and I don't have any more +2 runestones, but I do have 100 of the +1s. And what you can do is you can use 10 +1s to make a +2. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I'm actually going to go ahead and make 2 of them. If I go ahead and go back into this and I put my armor back in here, and then I put in that enhancement stone that we just made, you see it has a 100% chance now because of this golden diamond right here. 100% chance. So now we got it to a +6, which is awesome. So now, if you can see at the bottom of here, it says upgrade available. I can now take this to a purple piece of gear because I was able to hit that +6. So one thing I don't want to do is I don't want this to go down, right? I want to keep it a +6. If I were to use this +2 here, right, it has a possibility of failing. And instead of it going to a +8, it would go down and go to a +5. If you want to risk it for the biscuit and get it to a +8 here, that way when you upgrade it, it has even better stats, you can do so. But I don't want to do that for the sake of this video. I want to be able to actually upgrade the gear and show you that. So we're just going to use a +1, and we're going to take it to a +7 if it passes. We have a 49.5% rate of success, but if it fails, it won't go down. So we're going to go ahead and do that. It succeeded. Maybe I should have done the +8. That's what happens sometimes. Sometimes you just get lucky as hell. I've never been that lucky before. Okay, so we want to now take that piece of gear into a piece of purple. We're going to upgrade that blue piece into a purple piece. To be able to upgrade that blue piece, this blue piece of gear that we just got, to be able to upgrade that into a purple, you need the diamonds that these things make. So these faint equipment upgrade stone pieces, the top, right, because I'm upgrading my top, it takes 5 of these to create the thing that is used to be able to upgrade it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. See this faint equipment upgrade stone, that's different than the pieces of the stone, right? So I'm going to go ahead and create this, and I should be able to now, once I go find an equipment upgrade vendor, I'll be able to upgrade this piece of gear. Okay, so I actually had to do a little bit of editing magic there, because I actually didn't have 3 of these faint equipment upgrade stones. I had these Radiant Honor light boots in here already, and I went ahead and upgraded those to a +6 because I had 3 faint equipment upgrade stones for my shoes. So I can still show you how to take something from a blue to a purple. It's just not going to be that chest piece, because I thought I had more than I did. I don't. I have to wait to get 3 of the equipment upgrade stones to be able to take it to the next level. But we're going to go ahead and show you how that works with the boots, at least. Okay, so we have the 3 here. So all I have to do is click the upgrade button down here, and that's going to open up this other window here, which is actually the upgrade window, right? So this will take this blue into this purple. I'm going to go ahead and run this. Item used for upgrade will disappear, and you'll acquire a piece of higher tier equipment. Go ahead and yes. It went ahead and upgraded into these purple boots here with an item level of 286. Which, yes, it's not better than my purple breakthrough boots, but I wanted to show you how that worked. And then as you can see, these boots got another random effect. So it has natural stamina recovery and projectile skill critical hit rate. Now, if I go ahead and enhance this again, now it has 5 enhancement slots on it. But to be able to get this to legendary, I have to be able to get this to a +10. So I would have to hit +2s on every single one of these to be able to get it to a +10. But this has one of the must-have effects, random effects on your gear that we were talking about on that spreadsheet. Again, that's linked below. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that was a good explanation of what gear is good, where to find it, and then how to increase it and make it better while you're playing ELYON. If you got more questions, leave a comment down below. I've been doing my best to answer every single question that I can, or come over to my Twitch channel. I stream every Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to noon and 8 p.m. to midnight, twice a day, morning stream and evening stream. I hope to see you guys over there. Ask me all the questions you want, and I hope you're enjoying your time in ELYON. I'm really enjoying the game myself. And if you have any other things, any other video ideas, things you want me to cover, things you want me to talk about to help you learn the game or just enjoy the game more, let me know. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Keep an eye out on the YouTube channel. We got a lot more guides coming. I'll see you guys later. Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love.